When we think about the Declaration of Independence, names like Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and John Hancock often come to mind. But there were many other men who played major roles in the fight for American independence. In this part one of the two-part series on the Massachusetts signers of the Declaration of Independence, we're looking at two of them, John Adams and Samuel Adams. Although they were cousins, they each contributed to the American Revolution in two different ways. Their stories help us understand the people behind the Declaration and the fight that led to American independence. John Adams was born in Braintree, Massachusetts on October 19, 1735. He graduated from Harvard College in 1755, studied law, and was admitted to the bar in 1758. He began practicing law in Suffolk County, and Adams became involved in the growing resistance to British rule. He joined the Sons of Liberty and argued against the Stamp Act, which imposed a direct tax on the colonies without the consent of their legislatures. Adams argued that this violated two fundamental rights, being taxed only by consent and being tried by the jury of one's peers. In 1770, Adams was elected to represent Boston in the Massachusetts General Court, the colony's legislative body. He later served as a delegate to both the First and Second Continental Congresses. He signed the Declaration of Independence and proposed George Washington as commander of the American Army. He also signed the Articles of Association, which called for a colonial boycott of British goods. Adams served on the Board of War and later became a commissioner to France to negotiate an alliance with the French. In 1778, he sailed for France aboard the Boston. The voyage was dangerous, with British vessels pursuing the ship, and Adams personally took up arms to help capture one. Adams was also appointed as American commissioner to negotiate the Treaty of Paris, which ended the Revolutionary War. Adams became the first vice president of the United States under George Washington and later the second president. He also played an important role in establishing the United States Navy. The Department of the Navy was actually established under his presidency in 1798. Adams was also an outspoken about Christianity and morality. He famously stated, quote, "The general principles on which the fathers achieved independence were the general principles of Christianity." Similarly, he said, quote, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." John Adams also declared that the Reverend Dr. Jonathan Mayhew and the Reverend Dr. Samuel Cooper were two of the individuals most conspicuous and most ardent and influential in the awakening and revival of American principles and feelings that led to American independence. Showing the vital role of Christianity in our founding, he also issued national prayer proclamations for days of humiliation, fasting, and prayer. John Adams died in Quincy, Massachusetts on July 4, 1826, the 50th year of the anniversary of the United States of America. Samuel Adams was born in Boston on September 27, 1722. He graduated from Harvard in 1740 and earned his master's degree in 1743. He served in the Massachusetts General Court and became a delegate to both Continental Congresses. He signed the Declaration of Independence and later served in the Confederation Congress, which was the national Congress under the Articles of Confederation. Samuel Adams became one of the strongest opponents of British authority. He helped organize the Sons of Liberty and played an important role in the protest movement that led to the Boston Tea Party. In 1772, he proposed committees of correspondence to communicate information and educate colonists about their rights. The idea spread throughout the colonies. Because of his unwavering opposition to British tyranny, he was considered a huge threat to the crown, and so much was his influence that the British authorities offered pardons to all who laid down their arms after the Battle of Lexington and Concord, except for Sam Adams and John Hancock. After the Revolution, Adams helped draft the Massachusetts Constitution, and he served as president of the Massachusetts State Senate, lieutenant governor, and later governor of Massachusetts. He also participated in the 1788 State Convention that considered the U.S. Constitution. His concerns about individual liberties and state powers helped fuel the support for the Bill of Rights. Samuel Adams also strongly opposed slavery. When offered a slave as a gift, he replied, quote, "A slave cannot live in my house. If she comes, she must be free." Adams was also a strong advocate for religious liberty and stated, quote, "The rights of the colonists as Christians may be best understood by reading and carefully studying the institutes of the great lawgiver and head of the Christian church, which are to be found clearly written and promulgated in the New Testament," thus openly confirming that the important principles and rights for which they were contending came from the Bible. He was a faithful churchgoer, an active member of Old South Church, and issued several proclamations of prayer as governor of Massachusetts. Samuel Adams died in Boston on October 2nd, 1803, and because of his leadership in the struggle for independence, he is often called the father of the American Revolution. And that brings us to the end of part 1 on the Massachusetts signers of the Declaration of Independence. But we're not done yet. There are still more Massachusetts signers whose stories deserve to be remembered, and we'll be covering them in part 2. Now, if you enjoyed learning about these forgotten heroes of the American Revolution, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss part 2. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.